Little Pilgrim's Progress, Part 2, Chapter 63, Watchful Receives the Children. When Greatheart raised his sword to strike the second time, the giant stooped down to unfasten the chains of the wolves, but before he could do this, the sharp weapon crashed through his helmet, and he fell to his knees. He tried to get up again, but the king helped his brave young soldier, and after a short struggle, the terrible giant lay dead at Greatheart's feet. Then the lad turned around to look for the little pilgrims. Mercy had hidden her face, but Christiana had watched the battle, when the giant shrieked with pain, though she could not help trembling. Greatheart held out his hand to her. "Come," he said, "there is no danger now. Keep close to me, and the wolves will not hurt you. Their master is dead, and they are too much frightened to spring at anyone." The children saw that the wolves were cowering upon the ground, so they hurried past them and followed Greatheart to the gate of the Palace Beautiful. Watchful, the doorkeeper, looked out of this window and asked who was there. "It is I," said Greatheart. Watchful knew his voice, and, taking his lantern, he came quickly to the gate and opened it. "How is it that you are so late?" said he. "I have brought some little pilgrims from the house of the interpreter," answered Greatheart. "We would have been here earlier, but the giant met us and wished to turn us back again. I had to fight with him, but the king helped us, and I have killed him." "I am glad that he is dead," said Watchful, "for he has given us much trouble. You must come in and rest yourself." "No," replied Greatheart. "It is late, and my master will expect me to return tonight." "Oh," exclaimed Christiana, "how can we ever reach the celestial city unless you go with us?" "Yes, indeed," cried Mercy. "There are so many dangers, and we have no strength to fight with giants and wild beasts." Matthew and Joseph were afraid to speak, but little James came close to Greatheart's side and clasped his hand, saying, "Do, please go all the way with us." "I will go with you very gladly," said Greatheart, "but I must first ask leave of my master. You should have spoken to him this morning when we were setting out. I must go back tonight, but I will tell him what you say, and perhaps he will let me come back to you again." So he bade them all good night and was soon out of sight, for it was not quite dark. Then Watchful turned to Christiana and asked her who she was and where she had been living. Christiana told him, and he was pleased to hear that she was Christian's friend. Everyone in the palace liked the little boy, and they had not forgotten how lovingly he had spoken of Christiana. Watchful rang his bell, and the maidservant answered it and went quickly back into the palace with his message. Soon Prudence and her sisters came out to welcome their new guests. Discretion had gone away to work for the king in another palace, but her three daughters had the care of the palace, and they received Christiana very kindly.